Welcome to another interview with a local expert. My name is Chris Campbell, owner and physical therapist at Sport and Spine Physical Therapy. We've been getting lots of questions about runners that have never run before and want to pick up the sport. It's one of the fastest growing sports in many age categories, particularly in the late 40s and early 50s. Kids are starting to leave the house and parents want to know how to stay fit and what to do. Running's a very inexpensive way to get into shape, but there are a lot of things you need to know in order to do so, to be safe and to do it correctly and to have a methodical way to do it. So I sought out a local expert from Dover, New Hampshire, Mike Davis of No Finish Line Fitness. He's here to talk today about what it takes to start running as a brand new runner. Welcome, Mike.
Hi.
It's great to have you here, and we really appreciate your knowledge and look forward to this conversation. So you have your own company called No Finish Line Fitness, and you have an interesting background that brought yourself to this point. Tell us a little bit about that.
First of all, thank you for having me, Chris. I really I enjoy these kind of opportunities. So I was in the military for a total of 33 years, and during my time, because I became really enamored with fitness, they kind of seeked me out to take over the program for the entire base, to be the wing fitness program manager, they call it. And so my job was to help people with the guidelines for fitness and to put them through the testing that the military required them to maintain each year for fitness. And at the same time, find ways to help them improve their fitness. And running was a big piece of that. We would work to help them run better, run faster, run stronger, run healthier. And each year we would help people to get to their fitness test. As I progressed with that, I started joining some of the local running groups, and I did a couple training groups with Runner's Alley in Portsmouth. And the owner at the time, Janine Sylvester, reached out to me and asked me if I was interested in leading a training group. And I thought, wow, that would be fun. So I did that. And as I did it, I realized I was pretty good at leading the group, but I realized I didn't have a lot of technical expertise. So I seeked out some education and read what I could read. And so that kind of led me to getting certified. And then from there, I just continued to gain more knowledge. And then that's when I decided maybe I retired from the military. And along the way, I started No Finish Line Running. And then over time, I decided to morph it into more rounded fitness to No Finish Line Fitness. So that's where it brought me up to today.
Mike, besides your experience in the military training fitness, and you also have some certifications that have brought you to this point that have made you an expert in this field. Can you tell us a little bit about those certificates?
Yeah, sure, Chris. Thanks. I initially got certified as a running coach through RSCA, which is Road Runners Club of America. They're the main body for running coaches and certification. And then probably 2 years ago, they actually went to a level 2 certification course that they offered. And I took that. And so I believe right now I'm the only level 2 certified running coach in probably New Hampshire in quite a while, because they haven't had a lot of courses yet. And then from there, I got my certification from ACE as a personal trainer, and also got certified as a gait analysis specialist. So I've kind of really helped myself to learn all the different aspects of running through the certification process, as well as gait analysis, and now as a personal trainer, which helps me to work with people with functional strength during their running. So that's and I continue to I'm going to be taking functional movement screening here in the near future. So just continue to keep adding on to what I know to help people.
Great, thank you. So military into a civilian world of fitness, and so lots of high-level athletes over a 33-year period of time. You've gained quite a bit of knowledge and experience, it sounds like.
Yeah, I've worked with various athletes, recreational, which is most of us. I'd say 99% of the people you see out running are recreational. Some are higher level than others. And so it kind of gives me a diverse background of working with beginners all the way up to those that have run Boston competitively. So it's been a good kind of journey to learn the different aspects and help different people. Some people get started, and some people improve their running pace, and some people just find more enjoyable running with it. So I definitely have gotten a lot of opportunities, and a lot of great people that have helped me to grow as a coach.
So as a brand new runner, somebody that's never run before, maybe back in high school in gym class or middle school, and say, wow, this is a guy who's got a lot of experience and I want to start correctly. I want to try to prevent injury right from the get-go. So should I just go and pick up a pair of sneakers out of my closet and just hit the road and pick a landmark and say I'm going to run to it and run back? Or what kind of suggestions do you have for the brand new runner and how they might start off day one?
I remember when, I played the sports, all had balls or whatever with them. So, I really didn't do a lot of running. And I remember I was injured one year. So the cross country coach grabbed me and said, "Hey, Davis, you're gonna run because you can run. You can't throw anything right now, but you can run." And so I went in there with my basketball sneakers. And the first day he came out, he said, "Nah, it's not going to work." And he went back into somewhere in the locker room, came out with a pair of old running shoes. And I suppose, that they fit. I don't know how that happened. But I would say this, that running right off the bat is, you said it's a very inexpensive sport, but if we go a little bit cheap on the footwear, we might be paying for that with the rest of our body. And I think when we're younger, we might be able to get away with having less than the best running shoes. But certainly those people that tend to be more middle-aged and new to running, you want to go find a good pair of running shoes. Have somebody tell you what your style is, whether it's, you're pronating, supernating, or neutral. Let somebody tell you that and then give you some options for a good pair of footwear. That's probably the best investment you can make from that standpoint to get started. From there, I think once you have a good pair of shoes, I like to tell people, start to think about, don't force yourself to run distance. Get out there and set yourself to run for a time, maybe 20 minutes, and alternate it with walk running. Think about posture. Think about all the things that go with just good daily living, good daily functioning, and use, if you have good posture when you stand, hopefully you have good posture when you run. And so I think that's a good way to get started, is just to kind of set maybe 20 to 30 minutes of walk running. Don't worry about how far you go. Don't try to push it, because I say about 82% of running injuries all come from poor training. And I think that would be right off the bat, is that what would happen if you're not kind of taking it easy.
Great. So I go get myself a pair of running shoes that someone's fit me for my correct foot type, and pick a distance and run for time. Don't worry about going too far. Do some walking, alternating that. So I'm out there running, and you talk about posture and you talk about the importance of that. I've heard all kinds of different things from friends that run about some of these different things. So maybe we could hit on a few of these things. So tell me a little bit about what cadence means, and is that important? Is that something I need to worry about?
Cadence is great, and I think as you get better as you're running, I'm not sure I would worry a lot about cadence initially. Because I would just more worry about, okay, we used to think ideally we'd see somebody with long legs and say, oh, they got to be a good runner because they have long legs. Not necessarily accurate. Most runners actually that do well take shorter steps. They're trying to keep their feet under their body. So if right off the bat, if you could just think about some simple things like, I'm going to stand up straight and I'm going to lean forward from my ankles, not from the waist, not very well, just lean forward, lean where you're going to run. That's where you want to go. So you want to lean that way, kind of keep that good posture. That's why posture matters. So if you're nice and tall in your spine and everything bends right from the ankles to the direction you're going. So now as you go forward, you're not trying to take that big long stride where people think long legs help. You're actually taking that shorter stride, keeping it kind of under your body a little bit, and almost like marching up and down, but you're going forward. And so now you kind of get a nice little easy steps, relaxed steps, leaning in, your body's going in the direction that you're going, so you're not having to pull yourself. And so now once you kind of get into that mindset and you kind of get used to running that way, nice and easy, and getting your feet up, then at some point cadence becomes, you can say, okay, I'm going to count, maybe set a minute on you, look at your watch if you have one, or however you can do it, and count every time your right foot hits the ground. And then you'll see what your cadence is, times it times 2 for the minute, and you'll probably see my cadence, I'd say on average, I see around 155 to 160 initially. Ideally, they say it's great if you could be 175, because that means you're not spending a lot of time on your feet, not spending a lot of time on the ground, and you're getting them up. So that's kind of healthier for you. It keeps your steps quicker and not so long. So cadence, that's where cadence comes in. But I think initially I would just kind of work on that simple little bit of leaning, good posture, easy steps, and breathing, and just making sure you're breathing to kind of easy breathing. And if you're breathing really hard, you kind of got to slow down and make sure you're not going too fast. And that's what they call conversational pace. If you can kind of sing an easy song, Chris and I could probably remember the days where the Brady Bunch, we used to say, if you could sing the Brady Bunch when you're running, then you could probably go on the right pace. Well, find a, I don't know, whatever they play today, some easy song. If you can kind of speak or talk to somebody, carry a conversation and run, you're probably going at the right pace. If you can't, slow down. Take those easy steps, breathe easy, and just when you get that down, then worry about a little bit about the cadence part.
Well, that's good. One less thing to think about, but something to work towards. So again, getting to this posture thing. So you're talking about leaning forward a little bit at the ankles. You're talking about a chest up position, being able to breathe. What else about posture? So now I'm looking at my body. I got my chest up. I'm leaning forward. What do I do with my hands? Do my hands stay at my side? Do I move my hands? How important is that with my running? And what should I try to do with it as I begin my running training?
And that's a great question, a great point. Is, we tend to kind of where our arms are kind of stiff because we really don't know what to do. So they ideally like to say, I tell people, it's just let your hands kind of flop down, straight down, kind of flopping down by your side. And as you just let them kind of really relax the shoulders, and if, you can kind of keep your chest up, like you said, and your shoulder blades back a little bit, that's great. But kind of let your shoulders really relax. So we kind of tense those shoulders up a little bit. So as they're flopping kind of just straight down by your side, kind of like I used to say the Raggedy Ann kind of thing. So you kind of really loosey-goosey, and as you start to move, now bring them up to that 90-degree bend at the elbow, keeping your hands kind of low, because the more we bring them up, the more we tighten our shoulders. And so keep them kind of maybe almost like pocket, your arms kind of hands to slide right by your pockets, not just maybe skimming your pockets, not too far out, and a nice smooth kind of, if you had a line, invisible line coming out from your belly button to center point, that's about where your hands really want to kind of meet at and not cross. A lot of people get into, you see a lot of extra movement with their arms, and that can sometimes cause problems for our legs. It can cause problems for our breathing. It really just becomes a lot of energy. So really a nice, smooth, easy kind of pendulum on the arm at a 90-degree angle, keeping them, again, you got to remind yourself, I tell people every probably 10 or 12 minutes, let your arms dangle back down, let them flop around so you loosen up those shoulders again, kind of relax them, and then slowly as you're moving along, get them moving back up to that 90 degrees at the elbow, keeping them low, keeping them around, down around the pocket, just kind of skimming by, not too far from your body, but a nice smooth motion, so you're not using any extra energy, or getting into kind of bad form, because a lot of times when our arms start flying, our legs start kind of following direction. I tell people a lot of times the arms are great when we're running a race and we're down to that last half mile, last stretch, which is really hard, and those legs are tired, just pump the arms. You pump the arms, the legs are going to go. You don't have to think about the legs. Just pump the arms and move them. And, so really when we run, we really want to have a nice flow with our arms.
Good advice. It sounds, kind of relaxing, actually, to be able to run that way and not be so stiff. So now we work down the chain a little bit. So getting now towards, say, probably the knees would be the next thing, and the kind of the kick that we're supposed to have. And so what should I think about as I strike the ground and my foot comes off the ground and my knee bend and how high my foot should come? Is that an important part of running?
Oh, absolutely. And it's funny because kind of backing up to cadence, where people were saying, oh, wow, it's really important to have that 175 to 180 steps per minute. From a gait analysis standpoint, and big piece of what I do, because we do the biomechanics video and for gait analysis and running form, is, cadence is great, but cadence you can only go so far with for efficiency and for power. So really what we want is we want the propulsion effect. And that is what kind of the three things you just talked about there is you need to drive those knees forward. And I kind of, this is what I tell people, lead with your knees so you get your knees up. Then when your foot comes down, you want to push off that ground and use it as a mechanism for propulsion. And then as you push off the ground, your heel should come straight up toward your butt. And if it's getting up there, that means you're pushing up. If it's not, and what I see often when we do video and gait analysis is you don't see that heel coming up. You see it kind of stay down low, so you don't get a lot of space or air on their stride. And so, but we want that foot to come up. So that means they pushed off the ground and get some propulsion. And once you get that propulsion, you're using that ground force to help you. And so I tell people, lead with your knees. So get your knees kind of out in front of you so your feet are behind you in a sense. And then when your feet come under you, you're pushing off that ground, using that ground force to push up to the heel up to your butt. And so now you got this propulsion, and you get what they call double float. And double float is when you get both feet off the ground at the same time because you got enough propulsion. I see a lot of people that get hung up with cadence, and there's very little, if any, double float. They'll have one foot kind of hit the ground, the other foot comes on the ground, and there's never that 2 feet off the ground at the same time. So that's really we work on that form of getting that knee driving you and that foot pushing off the ground with propulsion coming up. And we kind of if we could exaggerate it, which I teach people to exaggerate it, and you'll settle into it eventually being your norm, but you got to exaggerate it early on to kind of make it happen.
Great. So now again, working down the chain. So we got our knee driving forward, which will automatically assist us with propulsion forward in combination with us leaning forward already, keeping our shoulders up. Hands are comfortable down by our pockets coming forward. Our foot should automatically be coming up as our knees driving forward. Then you talk about the foot underneath us. So with walking, that's just about a heel toe gait. We kind of know about that. So should I be trying to strike my heel when I run? Should I be trying to strike at my midfoot, at my toes? Where, as I come on down, my foot has to hit the ground. Where should I be trying to aim for?
Well, that's a tough one. Trying to aim for anything is pretty challenging. Okay, I would say that they say that they've done videos of marathons, and even the Olympics they did it, and 80% of the people were, even these great runners, were living on their heels, which everybody says, oh no, a heel striker. Work on good form, good posture, and shortening up that stride. And ideally, you'll probably land with your feet under you around mid stance if you do everything right. You know, if you're just a natural talented runner and somebody doesn't want to mess with your form, you could be landing on your heels, and you know that people get away with it. I mean, it's not going to be the end, but you know, I tend to, when I watch people initially on a video doing their biomechanics, they overstride a little bit, their heels out, their feet out a little bit in front of them too much. The heel comes down first. There's not a lot of push, and so when we kind of change the body position, like you just said, get them leaning, getting those shoulders up, getting that chest out there, getting the whole body going where you're running and pushing off, it tends to keep your feet under you, which tends to kind of get you on mid-stance. Trying to look down and say, I'm going to change that is probably not the way to go. The better way to go is to work on those basic biomechanic moves and let your foot just go where it should. Now, most cases that probably will be midfoot, which is ideal. Everybody would love that. But some people just, they're wired differently. And I don't really get hung up on trying to change that, because if it's working, don't change it.
Great. No, excellent advice. So about how many times a week would you suggest as a beginner runner? Should I run every day? Should I run 1 or 2 times a week? What would you suggest?
I think that's a really good question, because we sometimes we get a little rambunctious, a little excited, and we want to go 100 miles an hour into something, kind of much like going out there and running just for time versus distance. You know, running three times a week initially is probably is the best way to start. Give your body a chance to work into it. Give yourself some rest in between some days there. 4 is okay. I mean, and I tell people that are training for events that have done a little bit more running to go ahead and, 4 days a week is probably logical, because, rest is good, but, people have to build up distance. But initially, I would say 3 days a week is good. So give your body a chance to kind of work into it all. Give a day in between. Keep it, like I said, conversational pace, so that you're not kind of working too hard, so you kind of get defeated and you just can't get there. You don't want to try to get it all at once. It's a journey. Running is, if you want to run healthy, you want to enjoy it, kind of take your time and work into it. I think anything less than 3 times, you're going to find a struggle to really get to the conditioning you need. So I would say 3 times minimum, and early on 3 times is the most you want to. If you're enjoying it and your body feels good, then add a 4th time. But I really think you could better be served by using those other days to do some functional conditioning for strength training. Don't get it balanced with your workouts. Don't necessarily put it all on running.
So to summarize, one should invest in some halfway decent shoes. When they begin running, look at time more than a particular distance. Make sure to throw in some walking. Pick maybe 3 times a week with a day or so of rest in between. When you're out running, really pay attention to your posture. Chest up, leaning forward, shoulders back, hands relaxed, driving your knee forward. And don't worry so much initially on your cadence or where you're striking. With good mechanics, allowing your feet to go where they may. Don't worry about speed. Just try to be as relaxed and keep everything moving forward. Is there anything else you want to add to that summary, Mike?
Well, I think, you hit most of it, but I think breathing is a big thing. And really, again, look at, you can get really technical and talk about you're in your VT2 or VT1, your ventilation period. But really, I'd say if your breathing should be steady, and some people say, I struggle with my breathing, then I tell them slow down. Really, until you kind of get the whole dynamics of running down or anything else, you really need to kind of just take it easy and let your breathing be relaxed and kind of stay with it. And we didn't really touch on it much, but I would really say if for more well-roundedness, make sure you're in those off days, put some days in where you're doing some strength training, some single foot stuff, working those things, because running is a single foot to single foot exercise activity. And so if our hips and our stability in that sagittal plane or in our transverse, if they're not strong, if we're not doing some of those things, as we start to get further into the running process, we might start to have some little injuries or things that kind of make it hard to run the distance we might want to eventually. So I would say make sure you're doing some strength training, doing the things in those transverse planes and the sagittal plane that we don't necessarily always think kind of go with running.
Wow, Mike, that's fantastic advice. You've given us a lot of nuggets of knowledge here to be able to help with the beginning runner. So if a beginning runner or a more intermediate or advanced runner wants some help from you, which I understand you do gait analysis, you videotape, slow it down, break down these mechanics you just talked about. You also provide the strength and conditioning required for running. How might somebody get in touch with you?
So there's a couple ways. You could email us at info@nofinishlinefitness.com. You could call us at 603-953-4992. Our website is www.nofinishlinefitness.com. Those are all easy ways to call, and we do free orientations, we do free strength training workouts initially, and so we have a lot of tools. Our training is kind of scientific to the individual. We can look at where they're at, and we can help them with a training plan that works to them. And that's the big piece of doing healthy running. If you want to run healthy, you really, you can go to, Coach Google and find plans. And that's kind of like probably Chris would tell you with people trying to, take care of an injury themselves, is go to Google. You're probably about 20% chance of finding the right thing. Or you can kind of we help you to say, okay, what are you doing? How much running have you done? What's your experience? So let us help you, because we know how to do it scientifically, and we know how to keep you from getting an injury, which is what sidelines so many people in running. So, just like being smart and wise and seeing the doctor when you need to and getting the help, really, reaching out to us, we can help you do it in a healthy way that kind of makes it a healthy lifetime activity that's enjoyable and not a frustrating one. So, we're here just to talk and kind of get to know you. And sometimes people just learn something, they go away, we never see them again, but that's fine. We just want to help them become stronger and better and more functional with their running.
Well, that's fantastic. Thank you very much. And we really appreciate your time, Mike, and all this knowledge. And I think there's going to be a lot more healthy runners out there after this talk. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it.